All right, that's the book. Angels, Demons, and Beings Between, Extended Otherworldly Edition. This is a DCC RPG supplement that originally came out in 2012. It had some unfortunate hiccups with a release in physical form, but it's now out and available in this new cool edition in print with two covers. One of them you saw there is the pretty much the same cover from before, and the new one is for the hardback version of the book with Dagon on it, one of the new patrons that's given a write up in this book of patrons for DCC. So this is one of the first third-party kind of supplements that came out way back when, and I think a lot of DCC players probably have this in PDF form somewhere. And this new edition is unfortunately they don't have the license to do it in PDF, so it's only for print. But this is a book I feel that everybody that plays DCC is a hardcore DCC fan is going to get a lot of mileage of, going to give your players a lot more um, choices when choosing a patron. And overall, maybe you can even come up with a lot of cool adventure ideas as well. And it also has a new section called Demi Patrons, which was not in the original book. And I'll be talking about that a little bit here in a minute. But so let's get into just a little bit. I'm not going to go through what every single of these new patrons do, but I'm just going to tell you just a brief overview of why I would think why you should get this new edition, possibly upgrade it, obviously to have it now actually physically in print, which is nice. But also, how you can use it and just how awesome it is. So the original book had 13 patrons in it, the original Angels, Demons, and Beings Between. So a very good number of patrons. And I think when I originally saw it, I was like, oh, this is a good number. This works. 13 is nice, considering that the regular DCC RPG rulebook, it only has 5, to my knowledge, of the newest printing that was released. And of course, those are great patrons as well. And by the way, patrons also might give you they have 3 spells usually connected to them. And to create a patron is quite it's kind of a laborious task. You have to come up with the invoke table, the spell burn, 3 spells, and that can be kind of a process there to get through. So to have 24, that's a lot of work that's been done, in my opinion, to get all these out there. So you're getting more, and you're getting these new Demi patrons. So the first one that you come across, of course, is Dagon, which we all love. Love him. He's very cool. I enjoy that one a lot, and it's actually one that I really, really like the write-up for, mainly because I'm a big Lovecraft fan, but just because there's kind of a choice you can make with the character to either make them stronger, but you might turn into a deep one slowly over time, especially with how some of the spell burn manifests and stuff like that. But and they also have taints too. They have patron taints. Pretty much as you get closer and closer to becoming like a fish or an amphibian, Dagon is gonna he's gonna just all slowly just change your body over to a fishman, pretty much. But so each of them have the patron taints too. So that's another thing you have to write up whenever you're creating a patron. A normal patron write up is probably about 6, 7 pages maybe. So this page count is about 189. The original book is about 106. So it just shows you that you're getting a much thicker book, especially when you got it in print. It's going to look great, and of course the hardback's awesome. We all like hardbacks. And so Dagon's there, and he's going to do his kind of fishiness to your character, and grant fishy type abilities, obviously spell wise. Call up the deep, call up some deep ones. Shape of the deep, be pretty much changing your body to help the caster change into a more aquatic shape. And then one that pretty much Dagon just tries to kill whatever you need to be killed. He helps you destroy them in some way with water, it fills their lungs with water. That's painful, detrimental to living. And I just want to go ahead and say now that while looking through both editions of the book, the original edition, had art for each one of the patrons, and occasionally there'd be another little spot piece here and there. One thing that's really good about this new expanded edition here is there's a lot more art, and there are some new pieces that go along with each of the patrons. Or what they've done is they've given you a little spot piece here, or they've given you maybe a quarter piece of art that maybe is takes maybe some of the art that they had and kind of splits it up, and it's just overall it's a much more cohesive book when it comes to flipping the page and seeing an art somewhere, even if it's just very small or like I said, a quarter page or something like that. And I feel like it gives it a more of a creative fuel to it, seeing that extra bit of art. So that's obviously a bonus to it right there. And so the next one that you're going to have is, of course, I'm going to probably butcher some of these names. I'm terrible with some stuff. In Torpus, and like a chaos entity god thing. That's a new one. You've got, and of course, you know, you're going to have a lot of weird ones that are they're summoning up stuff, helping you kill things, changing your body or changing somebody else. And then you're going to run into the ones that you had before in the old edition, and you'll see some new art that's involved in that as well. So it's good. I'm going to try to say this one here. Hashlus, the Lord Duke of Reptiles. That sounds cool. Reptiles are fun. You've got Mab, the Dark Queen of Fairy. So maybe, you know, a female dark fairy patron that you can invoke. Mole Ferret, Queen of Weasels. Now, that's fun right there. And it's got one spell that's fantastic. It's in essence, one of the patron spells is it's just a huge spinning, destroying ball of ferrets that you throw at your opponent, your foe, who you've deemed unworthy, and the ferrets are going to proceed to rip that person to shred. So just imagine a big ball of ferrets, all teeth and claws, just ripping into your foe. So that's nice. That's nice. Momo, he who whispers forgotten secrets, and this is kind of a secret, slumbering type of tentacled, unknown shape, very much a Lovecraft type patron that's out there that you can bond yourself with. And then here's a fun one, which this is a good one. His name is Pesh Jumang, the Gate and the Keeper. Now, anagram, you can try to work with that, but I think you'll get something very close to Joseph Goodman. But it's a fun patron that's obviously a take on the Game Master dice, polyhedral dice, and that's what some of the spells and some of the stuff like that is for it. So it's kind of almost like an inside joke and kind of something that for the players to kind of enjoy and kind of have a little bit of a chuckle at. But a good write up on that one too. Next you've got Tristeus, the Tri-God. There it is. And this reminds me of like a He-Man character. Somebody's got like 3 faces. So very cool other patron there. So right there, I mean, that's already a bunch of the major patrons. And then, you know, you've got full write-ups on all the other ones. Maybe some new art too. There's some new art for like, what's that guy's? Radu, the King of Rabbits. A little bit of new art there. And then you have the section on Demi Patrons, and it's kind of funny because Paul Wolf kind of says in it that, you know, out of the laziness of having to write up a full patron, I came up with the idea of Demi Patrons, which I really enjoy this. Now, so what they are, and it gives you kind of a table and kind of explains to you how to use them. They are lesser patrons, lesser deities, maybe lesser gods or beings. And when you don't want to have maybe a full write-up, and you can have these Demi Patrons. They're not as strong. These patrons that are listed here are the main ones. Those are called major patrons. And these might be petty or minor patrons. But they give you 3 of them as an example. Akas, Mirrodin, and Taurus. And it's neat because they have a small area of influence. So while your characters are maybe traveling through a distant crazy land, maybe a jungle or something, they come across this statue of Mirrodin, and maybe one of the wizards can spend some time there, and then in essence do a small little bonding with this patron, this deity, and then be able to reap some sort of spell or ability or be able to invoke that patron within that small area. And so I think it can give some freshness to some new campaign ideas or adventure locations about what maybe this land, maybe these strange inhabitants here, what they worship, and let that wizard or elf kind of get in touch with that and kind of change it up a little bit. Maybe they're bonded to several patrons, maybe several of these Demi Patrons, and then also obviously, like, as the word spreads of these deities, maybe their area of influence gets larger and larger. So I really like the Demi Patrons, and it's funny that something out of laziness, he says, could be something so cool and kind of give you a new take on maybe something that you didn't know maybe to do. So there it is. Not an extremely long video. I'm not going to go into each spell and stuff like that. This is definitely a book. I think that, like I've said, DCC fans probably already have the PDF. Have probably wanted it in print form, and so now you're going to be able to get a printed version of it that's bigger, better, bolder, newer, some new ideas, and some fun, new, exciting patrons. Maybe some that you kind of know and are familiar with, like Dagon, and then some others that are fun and kooky, like Pest Humane. But there it is. Check it out. There you can order them from DriveThruRPG and RPG Now. I have the links at the bottom. But again, a great supplement for DCCRPG, and I'm just glad that we finally got it in print. And of course, I'm gonna have to spring for the hardback. That's just all there is to it, especially with Dagon on the cover. That's awesome. So, all right, hope you enjoyed it, and it's been it's giving you some good information about the book. You're gonna get a lot more patrons. Just going from 13 to 24, even though the Demi Patrons are not full write-ups. That's a good more chunk of patrons for your players and for you to work your campaigns and to choose who you want to serve. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks.